Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you another vulnerability scanner. I put it in second place. I really think that Nessus is my favorite as far as how easy it is. It installs it nicely, the interface is nice, and I don't know, I really think it's good stuff. Now, this one is going to be NeXpose or NeXpose, depending on who you talk to. So I'll just call it Nex, just so I don't offend anybody. So it's going to be the same thing like in the Nessus video, and if you have to, just go back, watch the Nessus video, because I'm just to save time, I'm not going to recap on all this. But basically we need to get back on the internet, so we need to have a NATed interface. And if you need to go into your interfaces file, your etc network interfaces file, hash those out, reboot your machine, or you can cheat and do the ifconfig eth0 and then whatever your IP address that you want is, or whatever. However you want to do it, we need to get back on the internet. And let me go to VM settings. Host only, I'm going to change it to NAT. Hash all this out. Control X, I hit Y and enter, there we go. I'm going to reboot the machine. And then we should be natted. Alright, I've rebooted and I'm going to launch a browser. And it's made by Rapid7. So it's going to be through the Rapid7 website, but let's go ahead and type it in. And we want the Community Edition. Alright, there it is, rapid7.com/products/NeXpose or NeXpose. Alright, now when we get to this point, we're going to scroll down, and you can basically click on Secure Your Network Today. And that's going to ask us what version we want, and it's either going to be the Community Edition or the Enterprise Edition. Enterprise Edition, you do get the 7-day trial, just like Nessus, but the Community Edition, you get it for free for a year. And just like Nessus, it's going to ask you to register. It's going to ask for your name and all that stuff, your email address. Let's just go ahead and click download the community. Now, I've never done the VMware virtual appliance. I think it's like loaded in its own operating system and it loads like that. I'm not sure. But we want to put it inside of Kali. We want to put it inside of our Kali machine. So we're going to click on the software installation. Now, you need to fill out this information here on the right. Also, minimum hardware. Now this is like it will still work. For example, I have a 64-bit Kali machine, but they want 8 gigabytes of RAM just dedicated to this thing. Well, I'm in a VM, and I've only got like a couple gigs on my Kali machine, and my entire laptop that I'm running, it only has 8 gigabytes. So there's no way that I can dedicate all 8 gigabytes to my Kali machine. It will still run. Also, the 8 gigabytes. The only reason why it's telling you that it wants 80 gigabytes, which is quite a bit, is because over time it's going to store and store and store and store information. And it's still 80 gigabytes is pretty huge to just give to one program. But anyways, so even if you don't have like the 80 gigs or the 8 gigs of RAM, the program will still run. So you want to fill out all this stuff on the right hand side. Now make sure that you give it a real email address, because you need to be able to check it, because they're going to send you that activation key. When you hit submit and download, then it will take you to either, it'll say Windows or Linux, it'll say like 64-bit, whatever. Download whichever one you need, which would be the Linux version. And once that's done, it's gonna download a .bin file. I'm gonna minimize this. So the .bin file, we need to stay on the internet so that it can install. And plus it's gonna ask us for the registration code or whatever. And when we put that in, it's gonna register it. So I downloaded it to my root folder, and we can see that my setup is right here. And for this, you want to do a chmod, and then you can either do a 775 or you can do a 755, and you can type in the name of the file. That's going to give us privileges to execute. Now, you can also just do a star, and that will give you rights on everything, which you should have rights on everything because we're root. We should be able to do what we want. So I just use a wildcard. Just use a star. Hit enter. We can do an ls. And now we should be able to launch it. Now to launch it, we're going to do a period / the name of the file. It's a bin. So let's go ahead and run that. I've already got mine installed, but I'll see if it'll let me reinstall it anyways. And basically when it's done, it should leave the terminal open, and it's going to give us a link. It's going to give us a link, or HTTPS. It's going to be on the local host and whatever port number it's on. So I'll wait for that. And one thing that just while we're waiting, one thing that I do remember that I didn't mention in the Nessus video, and the same for this video, is it's HTTPS. Previous, let me see what this is. I'll just say continue. There's previous version. See, now this thing's confusing me. Anyways, I'm saying previous versions. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, what I meant to say was it's HTTPS, and so it's going to give you a warning because it doesn't recognize the certificate, and so you have to click that you acknowledge the risks and that you want to proceed, and then you just confirm the security exception. You save it, and then it won't give you those errors anymore. So, anyways, okay, welcome to the installation wizard. I'll click next. It's going to gather the system information. It's going to tell me that I don't have enough RAM. I don't have enough hard disk space. So you see, there we go. I've only got 2 gigs of RAM on my virtual machine. They want 8. That's okay. We could just click next. Create desktop icon. We're going to uncheck that. And then we want to initialize and start after installation. And if it doesn't for some reason, I will show you how to do it. So I'm going to wait here just for a second and be right back with you guys. Alright, and so it didn't take that long, but occasionally mine completed great. I can click on my local host there. There's the link, 3780. We can click on that. Now, sometimes when you install it, see, mine's not actually launching. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click finish. And what we need to do now is we're going to go to, I wasn't able to launch it for whatever reason, so I'm going to do, oh, you know what, hold on, cd/opt/rapid7, cd NeXpose, and we need to go in the NSC folder. And to launch it, we use that one right there, nsc.sh. So /nsc.sh, hit enter, and we'll wait for a while for this thing to go. Now, I'm still natted, so I don't know if that's going to create any issues or not. I know that we're not going to be able to scan our XP machine or anything like that because I'm natted. I need to get back on my host only adapter, but we'll see if this thing will at least start up. Alright, it looks like it's going to start up okay this time. Basically, it's starting up our PostgreSQL server in the background, and I've seen it before, like current DB version, all this. Sometimes it has issues connecting with the database, and so it gives us all kind of errors. And if you do encounter that, then the best thing I can recommend is just restart the Kali machine, and then right when Kali boots up, just go into your terminal, and you're going to want to launch, going back into OPT Rapid7 NeXpose or NeXpose A, and then NSC, and then nsc.sh. You're going to want to execute that, and then it shouldn't have any issues. Remember, the first time that we do this, we will need to be on the internet because, as you can see, it's loading a bunch of plugins, and I think, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that it pulls files. It wants to update and pull files from the internet, and now it's doing some other kinds of checks and that sort of thing. So And also, you guys are going to need to activate that key that you got in your email if you follow this video. So I'm going to wait just a few more seconds here, and hopefully it'll be started soon. Alright, finally looks like it's ready to roll. So you can see it gives a link down here. And let's go back here, and we have our logon. Let's go ahead and... now, it may ask you to create a user and all that stuff. Very similar to Nessus, so if I forget a step, I apologize, but it should be very self-explanatory up until this point. Alright, so I was able to log in, so everything looks good. There's my 192.168.1.106. I've already done a scan in here before. But what we basically need to do now, I've got you to this point so that we can make sure that everything's activated. It downloaded definitions and whatnot. So wanted to make sure that we were able to get to this point. Now, there's something a little bit different I'm going to do here at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my VM settings back to host only, but I'm not going to reboot the machine. I'm going to see if I can do it without having to reboot. So now if I go to my terminal, I will manually request the IP that I want. Let's do an ifconfig. So I still have that 192, that NATed address. So I'm going to do an ifconfig ETH0 and then the address that I want, 192.168.1.101, which is the Cali machine. I've always had that IP there. So ifconfig. Perfect. It gave us the IP. I can now do a ping. We'll ping the XP machine. And we get replies. So cool. We didn't have to reboot. Everything looks good. So, what we basically need to do is there's assets, there's vulnerabilities, there are policies, reports, administration. And what I'm going to do is click on assets. It's taking quite a while. Maybe it has something to do with me switching my interface from NAT to host only. Maybe it doesn't like that. There we go. Looks like it's working. It's just slow. So we have 0 assets. Basically, what we need to do is, let me move this here. It says site 1. Let me click on this. Now yours isn't going to say 1, but let me see what it's showing me here. It should be that 192 address. Yeah, 192.168.1.106. So it gives us like a risk analysis and all this other thing. So basically, we need to just go back to home, and what we're going to do, again, and just like in Nessus, there's also the policies. Let me click on policies just so I'm not missing anything here. But basically, we need to create a new static site. That's what we need to do. And then we're going to specify our target. So there are no policies. There's no policies. I don't have to. It's not mandatory that I set the policies. So let me go back to the home, and come on now. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to do a new static site. When you click new static site, it's going to take you to a wizard, and then you're going to name it. Now I named mine, the IP address 192.168.1.106. Importance, this doesn't really matter. Static description, you can put that in if you want. Just hit the next. It'll do scan setup, go next. Credentials, you can pretty much just go next. Web applications, we're not doing that. Organization, we don't need to fill anything out there. That sort of thing. So basically you just need to put in just bare bones information, work your way through that, and then you make sure that it's saved. So I'm going to go back to the home icon, and we should get to this point here. There's scan, edit, and delete. So I can go ahead and click scan, and I'm going to actually erase 110. And mine is my scan template. It's actually it's not letting me do it. I can specify it down here. Specify one or more assets. So I'm going to do 192.168.1.106. And there's 110 in there because I had another machine I was doing earlier, but I'm just going to put in the 1.106. And it's going to do a full audit. So I'm going to hit start. This may take several minutes. Please wait. It probably will. Doing a full audit usually will take a while. So same thing kind of with Nessus. Tells us how much time has passed, except this isn't a real stream, so to speak. This kind of like refreshes. It'll refresh every 10 seconds or so, it looks like. So basically we can sit here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. We'll wait for the scan to finish up, and we will see what happens. Alright, so it took a little bit longer. 4 minutes. Not too bad, though. And it basically, there's a couple things that we can look at least that I look at. We can output the scan log, and if we click on that, it will download the file. We could just open it up in like a text editor or whatever. It should be like a TXT, or it's a .log. So you can actually download that. You can save it, and then you can open it up with Nano or any kind of text editor. And there's like tons and tons and tons and tons of information in there. And then it'll show you things like that it's tried to do, but maybe our license version, because we have the free one, doesn't allow it to do. There's certain things that it tries to do, but I don't know. Anyways, but the log, it's kind of messy, but that is something that you can do and keep. But the main interesting point that we want to get to is right here. We want to click on the address 192.168.1.106, and this is where it will give us our breakdown, at least it should anyways. There we go, operating system, Windows XP. There we go, loaded the vulnerabilities. So we can see the MS08067, MS09001, and all the other things. Very similar to Nessus. I just my preference, I do like the way that Nessus looks a little bit better. I think it's a little bit more user-friendly. User and group listing, if it can put anything in there, it will try and guess. It looks like there's some other pages of stuff that we can look through there. Service listing, we can click. Obviously, we see the ports. So I did a port scan. Funny, it actually had our Elite port on there. That's the what did we set up? Our Netcat, I think, backdoor that we set up is on there. I think that's what it was. I could be mistaken though. So we can click on this. We can get descriptions of what those are. Again, let's go ahead and just pick a vulnerability, MS08067. Let's see what this looks like. There we go. Critical severity 10. The published modified date. So similar things to Nessus. Port 445 vulnerable. Port 139 vulnerable. Gives us some information there. And so we could just keep going on and on about it, but really, again, this also shows us the CVE number. So if you want to use this program, it's good. It also gives you great solution ideas down here. It gives you good information. They both do a good job. And obviously, with this program, with the Community Edition, you can get a year for free instead of just having the 7 days. So, anyways, that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are learning something. Same thing like we did in that Nessus video. You would just grab the names of these exploits, do a little search in Metasploit, see what you could find, and we would just go from there. So I'll see you guys in the next video.